What is good, gamers? OpTic Blake here with some Valorant console settings. At the time of recording this, it is during the beta. I've been absolutely grinding it so far, dialing in the settings. But if you're watching this way later down the road when the full release is out, these settings are still going to apply. We're going to go over three main categories. One is general settings for the beta, two is controller mapping, and three is crosshair and aim. If these settings help you guys out, really appreciate it if you could leave a like or a comment on the video. And I'm looking forward to bringing you guys some more content of Valorant on console. Enjoy. All right, so the first order of business right when you jump into the game is going to be those general settings that I mentioned, and the first one of those is going to be the minimap. When you press start, you press settings, straight off the bat, we're into the map, and by default, the map is too zoomed in, and you won't be able to see the opposite side of the map during the game, and of course, we want to change that. So come in here, I prefer to keep rotate map with player on, but you're going to want to make sure you turn off keep player centered. This allows you to see the opposite side of the map from where you're currently playing. The minimap size on 1, minimap zoom on 0.9, and keep those vision cones on. I'll back out, and what this does, you can see the minimap in the top left corner. You can see the outer extremities of the map even when you're all the way at the other side, and allows you to just know what's going on. Now, the only other thing we're going to adjust in these general settings is down here at other. So there's press the right triggers to go down to other. And for me, I swap my enemy highlight color to yellow. I think this is the most visible enemy highlight color setting on the map. The yellow just really pops. But a thing to keep in mind is you want to have it contrast whatever color crosshair you're going to use. So for instance, if you prefer a yellow crosshair, you might not want to use a yellow enemy highlight color. For instance, I'm using cyan, which is like a blue, so it pops off the yellow really well. So just keep that in mind, but this is where you change that. You can also change your first person handedness if you want to swap that to left. This is where you do it. The next thing we're going to look at is those controller binds or controller layouts. So you're going to press start, come back into settings, and R1 over to controls. By default, the preset is set to Valorant. If you want to change that preset, you click R3, which is clicking down on the right stick, and you can move between these presets. Another one that people really might be interested in is traditional. And basically what this does is put your crouch onto circle or B, which is very similar to a lot of other FPS games on console. So that's one to try out, but by default, the Valorant setting has been pretty good. The biggest thing to note is if you do swap to traditional, it puts that ability 3 on your R3 or your right stick. So if you find yourself gripping the controller a little too tight, you're going to randomly pull out your abilities in the middle of a gunfight. So that's just something to look out for. I've been really enjoying just the default Valorant preset, and what you can do is just remap a certain button. So let's say if you wanted to put crouch on circle, but you don't want to change the ability to R3, you would just come over here to crouch and bind this to circle, and that would swap your crouch from L3, and put that onto circle. So you can very much customize these to your preferences, but if you'd rather just play on one of the presets, you can scroll through them here. Me personally, I play on Valorant and I swap my ability 3 on the left stick for crouch to circle. Now, once we are done with the controller layout, this is the big one. We're jumping into the aim. So off the bat, yes, there is aim assist in Valorant on console. You can adjust the strength or the stickiness of it, and you can also very much dial in between the different aiming modes. There's 3 aiming modes in Valorant, and one is just the generic, you're walking around, it is shooting from the hip pretty much. You can do focus mode, which is new for console, which basically allows you to tighten the grouping of your shots. And there is also ADS, and you default enter that by going into focus mode, so pressing that left trigger and then clicking down on the right stick. So this is normal aiming mode right here. This is focus mode by pressing left trigger, and while I'm holding left trigger and press right stick, you go into ADS. Whereas on PC, Valorant is just like this and ADS. Those are the only two. So for my aim settings, go into controls, down into aim. I am playing on a relatively higher sensitivity. A lot of the other people that I've been seeing are playing on lower, and then it is very much a broad spectrum of settings. Some people are all the way up. I've found 9.9 to be very comfortable, and I also found that I don't like different sensitivities between the focus modes. Granted, this is all going to be personal preference, but I recommend trying out 9.9 off the bat. And if you want to make it a little slower, maybe bump it all down to 7. but I keep the base sensitivity, the focus, and the ADS all the same. So I'm running them all at 9.9. And then when you come down into here, you'll see focus or ADS priority. This is prioritize focus. You can change this if you are not using the focus mode. So that would mean that when you press left trigger, it will automatically jump into that third or ADS aiming mode. So in your focus ADS behavior, I keep this on hold. Sniper behavior, I set to toggle so that you don't have to constantly hold that left trigger in your snipe. I do not play inverted. My dead zone is at 0.03. You want this as low as possible without any stick drift. This is going to depend on your controller. Aim outer dead zone, you want this all the way to the right at 1. And this is the aiming curve. So what this is this is going to be the strength or stickiness of that aim assist. And you can change it per aiming mode between the three. Base aim curve, I'm leaving it at standard. It has felt great. And for the focus and ADS aim curve, I set these to light. The focus and the ADS seems to have a slower or stickier feel to it. So when I kept these all at standard or tried them on extreme, it was just too slow. Leaving these at light allows me to still be flicky, but to still get the benefits of a little bit of aim assist. I found these very natural, and it felt like a lot of other FPS games I've played. So I have base aim curve standard, focus, ADS both on light, and kept the sniper aim curve at standard as well. I know that's a mouthful, but I promise these settings feel very natural, and I think they're really going to help you guys out. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an example of what I'm talking about and go into the range here with the bots. The bot aim assist seems to be a little bit stronger, but you'll also feel the same aim assist once you're in game. Here are my settings. I've been playing console FPS for a very long time, so I wanted to make it feel like all the other games I've played. I normally play COD, Apex, stuff like that. So here's my aim settings down at the bottom. These are the biggest ones that you'll see kind of discrepancies on YouTube. I left my base aim curve at standard, and then light, and then sniper aim curve standard. So basically the focus aim curve seems to have more slowdown, and the ADS curve as well. So when you put those to light, you can be a little bit snappier. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just ADS playing on a relatively high sense feels very snappy. You'll feel a good slowdown between the bots. And then when you ADS, you don't want it to be too slow, because your micro adjustments are going to have to be even more precise when you are in focus and when you're in ADS. So putting these to light feels really good, and it allows me to make the adjustments I need to make and still hit the flicks, but the aim assist still feels snappy. So highly recommend these settings. It's felt really good for me. And probably the most important, because the default crosshair is one of the worst things about out of the box Valorant. I'm going to show you how to make a good crosshair. And if you're brand new to Val, I promise this menu is not as bad as it originally looks. But let's jump in and make a very popular crosshair that myself and a lot of players in the VCT use. Under General, the advanced options lets you customize between all four of your crosshairs: the base, focus, ADS, and sniper scope. But we're going to leave this off, and we're going to make that same crosshair for all four right now. Under Show Spectated Players Crosshair, leave this on. This lets you know what your teammates are rocking. Fade crosshair with firing error. This is a visual thing that when you start spraying with the weapon, the top of the crosshair will start to fade, and it's a good visual indicator to stop spraying. And you R2 down here to base, and I am playing with a cyan crosshair. Some other very popular colors are white or green yellow. And again, you're going to want to kind of contrast that to whatever enemy highlight color that you're using, and we swap that over in General. I'm using outlines off for this one, but if you have trouble seeing your crosshair, you can turn outlines on, and I would highly recommend putting that opacity all the way up to 100. For this one, center dot off. Inner lines are on. The opacity is 100. Vertical scaling is off. This allows you to customize the height and width for this to make different shapes of the cross, but I want it to be a perfect plus, so we're going to leave this as is. I'm using inner length or line length 5, thickness 2, and the offset 0. If you prefer a crosshair with a gap in the middle, this is another really popular one. All you have to do is change inner line offset to 2. So you can try this out. You can see the crosshair changing above me. This is what I use, and if you want to use the space in the middle, just change that to 2. And these are the two big ones to get right. A lot of people can't figure out how to make their crosshair not jump around when they're moving and shooting. You don't want that to happen. You'll figure it out with just a stagnant crosshair, change your movement error and your firing error both to off. And outer lines are pretty much always going to be off for these unless we build a really funky crosshair. Now this is where you can customize your focus, your ADS, and your sniper scope. For just the sake of the video, I'm going to show you another setting option that's really popular, which is changing your focus and your ADS to a dot crosshair. So the way to do this is go into general and turn advanced options on, and then you're going to come down here to focus and you're going to make a dot. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. This would be outlines on, opacity at 100, center dot on, thickness 3, opacity 100, and then you leave everything else off. So what this does is allow you to have a default crosshair like this, which is very easy to align with players and keep that crosshair at head height. And then when you focus or ADS, it keeps it at a dot. So this is all just a matter of personal preference, but also just leaving advanced options off. It's perfectly fine. This crosshair is going to be good for any engagement you get in. And that's how you make my crosshair that I'm using. It is a very popular one. It is nothing crazy, but if you want to see how to make some funkier or some unique crosshairs, I can probably make a video of that. So let me know if that's something you guys would like to see. Now, again, if you want to customize the focus and the ADS into a dot or something like that, that is all a matter of personal preference. You can just toggle that on or off by going over here to advanced settings. And last but not least, we're going to go down into the sniper scope. For me personally, I prefer the dot opacity all the way up to 100, and I just leave the thickness at 1. And last but not least, before you go, this is just something to try out if you find yourself having trouble hearing footsteps in the game. I personally find the console mix to be even better than it is on PC, but a really popular setting on PC is to enable HRTF. This is a 3D spatial audio. So if you find yourself having trouble hearing footsteps, try toggling this on, but I'm actually playing off right now because by default, I think the footsteps are very audible in this game and very easy to tell where they're coming from. That pretty much sums it up for all of my custom settings for Valorant on console. If these settings helped you guys out, I would really appreciate you leaving a like on the video, and I hope you guys enjoy your time playing Valorant on console. I know I have. Appreciate you taking the time to watch. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.